Hey everyone, and welcome back to another World of Warcraft Legion Alpha video. Today, we're going to be going through engineering. So, as soon as you pick up engineering from the trainer, you get this quest called Scrap, which is to take a bunch of things into the underbelly of Dalaran. Nice and simple, and in keeping with much of the theme of Legion's professions, where they're trying to get more quest content involved overall. Now, this, broadly speaking, does follow a similar format to the other professions that I've looked at. However, I did find that engineering actually has a good bit more just content to do on your character, at least from the earlier stages. So we turn that thing in, and then this guy here, this gnome, basically says, right, I've got this Fel Reaver part, which you should bring back to the engineering trainer. And that's maybe hinting that we're going to be doing stuff with the Fel Reaver, which is something that I was kind of excited about, and is a little bit more of a unique kind of thing for engineering, where they basically have this little Fel Reaver thing that they're going to be tinkering around with and upgrading. And that process actually starts off almost immediately. We need to head down to Asuna to grab some more parts. That's heading actually down to Fargo Flintlock, who is an NPC that has been in the game a few different times. One of the more notable examples is probably the Twilight Highlands. So anyway, we talk to him, and we get two different quests. One of them is to kill a bunch of critters using a gun that he develops, and the other one is just to pick up the Fel Reaver. I think it's the arm and legs, something along those lines. Now, this is just taking place in a part of Asuna that was already used for a quest chain during leveling, but of course, all of this reputation content is kind of level agnostic because the world does scale to you. So, just to give you a quick example, there's a critter. I'm going to shoot the critter. It is now shot. There is a leg. I've picked up the leg. You just kill all the critters, pick up all the stuff, and you are essentially good to go. Now, also in keeping with how this works with Legion, completing these quests will give me rewards in terms of schematics. So, the first quest gave me the ability to make head cannons, or head guns, and the other one gave me a recipe for an auto hammer. The auto hammer is actually pretty cool. So, we head back here, we hand in our two pieces of the Fel Reaver. That gives us the schematics for the auto hammer. And with that done, we need to find a suitable power source for the Fel Reaver. Now, this is just a short quest, which is just to go and talk to a bunch of different NPCs. We also get a quest to head back into Val Shara with Fargo Flintlock to do some stuff. First, though, let's craft the hammer. So I bought one of the reagents that I needed. I now click on the auto hammer, it summons one down, and you can use the auto hammer to repair your gear. You can't sell to it, but it's definitely a handy bit of utility to have. Anyhow, I had to go and get the power source and talk to a whole bunch of NPCs to fix up this Fel Reaver. I've cut that down a bit because it's basically just you running around and talking to NPCs. Not really the most exciting stuff, but hey, it's all good RP, good lore, good stuff to have included as you build up this thing. The final piece is something you get off this shady-looking orc guy, and to do that you need to solve I say a puzzle. It is one of the easiest puzzles ever, but hey, it's a nice little thing, so you need to steal a jewel from somebody, but, makes sense that you tell them to go downstairs first and then steal the jewel, and they don't see, so hey, that's a nice little thing where instead of it just being talked to an NPC, there was a tiny thing to figure out. The more of stuff like that we see, the better. Anyway, with all that stuff done, it's time to pretty much power on our Fel Reaver and see what happens. As you can see, success, we now have a Fel Reaver. Pretty damn cool. Now, the way that the Fel Reaver works is something we're just about to find out here, once I complete this quest, is basically that, first of all, I get a battery. Now, you actually need to use up a battery to summon the Fel Reaver in, and those batteries are craftable using just, your regular engineering resources. Now, I do get a further quest, which is to craft a module for him, and basically, Reeves, who's the name, that's the name of your Fel Reaver. Here's just the other quest I was doing with Fargo. Reeves has a bunch of, basically just has a slot on him where you can put a different module. I'll go through the modules later on in this video, but essentially he's a kind of modular thing which will give you utility. Finally, we have our quest here with Fargo. We run in, we click on some stuff, we kill some other things, nice and simple, and we get two different things from that. The first one is the recipe for a turret, and the one after that is a small little explosive grenade thingy that will stun enemies. Anyway, the main progression blocker for moving on with engineering is making 5 hearty feasts, which actually involves being really quite far along in Legion cooking. This does give us a good idea of everything that's going on with the Legion engineering though, and I'm going to cut to my past self at the end of this quest, where I give you a walkthrough of all the stuff that is on the vendor, the overall progression, and some of the different recipes, all the different recipes, in fact, that you can see, and various different ranks of them that are available. Alright, so we're pretty much at the end of this video, and I'm going to take it live so we can have a bit of a look through the various different things that I've unlocked, and also the recipe vendor, and the kind of things that are sold. So first of all, we have recipes for different kinds of head guns, which is fine. We then move on, though, to cranial cannons. These are epic head guns, I suppose, that are item level 800. 800 is actually not that much. A lot of my gear from World Quests is 825. I've got to assume that stuff is upgradable, or maybe can proc a higher item level, stuff like that. So we've got our different sorts of cranial cannons. There's a cloth one, a leather one, etc, etc. We've got another bullet dispenser. I think this is just the dupe of the one that I've got, though. A pump-action bandage gun, which will heal an ally up to 40 yards away by a total of about 100,000 health, which isn't that much. Currently at Legion, I've got 1.3 million on this character. Also, just dawned on me a little bit silly, these are rank 2 things. You can see there's 2 stars on their icon. The ranking system works very similarly to the other stuff, where you can get higher ranks by, as you can see there, doing a quest called Lock, Stock, and Barrel for that. Same quest, actually, to get all of those to be better. Gunpowder charge, I can make that better, so I can make better gunpowder head charges. Same goes for the bullet dispenser. Basically, the one that I can do right now is the level 1 one, but I can just buy the rank 2 one from this vendor. So that's roughly how that's working. Some things you need to unlock via quest. Some, well, you can pretty much just buy them. We've got a gun pack. Strap some loaded guns to your back. A better auto hammer, and then a failure detection pylon. So this places an electric pylon on the ground that will resurrect all party and raid members within a certain number of yards, let's just say 40, 80, whatever, after combat has ended. Doesn't work on players who have released their spirits. Basically, that's a bit of a mass res you can drop, then you can die, and then you can res people. Kind of similar to that toy that you can get in Tanan Jungle. We have a recipe for the Intra-Dalaran wormhole generator. Teleport to a point up to 90 yards away, can only be used in Dalaran. I think I'll purchase one of those. And then we have our different crafting regions. So there's oversized blasting caps, loose triggers, iron barrels, sniping scopes. These will probably act as like a minimum sort of floor price for some stuff. Now we also have different guns here, and these guns, well, they're not that great, but more importantly, they're actually used in some engineering recipes. So let's start off our crafting by making ourselves a head gun. I'm just going to use this one, which uses leather, which I bought off the AH. I wasn't able to find cheap storm scale. Couldn't really be bothered going off and, well, skinning it because I need to relearn something on this character. So anyway, tactical head gun. I need 1 sniping scope, a twirling bottom repeater gun, and then 2 loose triggers. So that's all of our sniping scopes got. We just need 2 loose triggers and then the gun, which I believe was the twirling bottom repeater. Okay, and that is enough for us to make a tactical head gun. So let's just click on this. Alright, now it is leather, so I am able to equip it. Obviously, it's not perfect, though. And there you have it. This is pretty much new engineering goggles. Now, the thing about head guns is, well, you can see it's got a gun on it, right? So you should be able to fire these. Now, with Legion on the, when they were announcing this expansion, and they had all of their slides up at BlizzCon, these had an on-use effect, which was to fire the head cannon. As you can see, though, this is currently just a set of goggles. Maybe that will be different with the epic version, but right now, we maybe need to wait and see a little bit more. What I will say, though, is it's a very nice model. It's a bit more higher poly than some of the other ones we've got. And yeah, overall, I really do like the look of it, and you might be able to make some very cool transmogs with that. Let's go back into our engineering stuff and look at Reeves. So I think we'll just make a Reeves battery. I'm pretty sure I've already covered this. I can use the battery to summon Reeves, so I click this. And here he is, our buddy. He just says, "Greetings, Crater." He's got he's got 1 million health, so that's pretty cool. And I will take him out for a spin in combat later, but I will do that after I create ourselves a turret. I've already made the auto hammer, so instead let's make ourselves a bullet dispenser, also known as a gun turret. We need a Fellgibber shotgun and a sniping scope. So let's just go in, purchase ourselves the sniping scope. and then the shotgun. It's a bit more thematic, just using an actual shotgun as the ingredient. Maybe that is a system that we will see expanded a little bit more. So, there we go. We now have our deployable bullet dispenser. But, as you can see, it's got a skill requirement of 350, so I cannot use it. And power leveling engineering, for the sake of this one video, maybe isn't going to be the most worthwhile, but suffice to say, you'll put it down and it'll shoot your enemies for you. I think the next thing that we should probably do, though, is just go and test out Reeves and see what he's like. Actually, turns out the gunpowder charges can be used by anyone, so I'm just going to go and, well, purchase loads of oversized blasting caps, 30 of them to be precise. So there you go. With those purchased, we can head back into our engineering panel and build ourselves... I assume this is like 30 gunpowder charges. No, just one. Interesting. Doesn't do that much damage, but it does incapacitate targets for 5 seconds. So that could be a nice little get out of jail sort of card for you. Okay, well, I figured this part of Azuna would be a decent enough place to find some stuff to kill. As you can see, there are demons everywhere, so that works out pretty well for us. First of all, let's see what this gunpowder charge thing is like. We'll use it on this dude over here. And apparently it just failed, and it says spell not learned. Well, it seemingly has no level requirement on it, so that just doesn't seem to work at the minute. Of course, it still is the alpha. Let's go and see what Reeves is like in combat. So we're going to bring him down, and yeah, he says hello. And I suppose this just works like a guardian, so it will enter combat for me. Maybe, maybe not. Looks like we're actually, yeah, no, we're leaning towards not. He is not doing anything for me. That's a little bit unfortunate. I thought there might have been a default combat element to this, but it would appear that there isn't. Of course, we can install modules onto Reeves. Pretty sure I covered it earlier, but if we just look here, as an example, there is the snack distribution module that will let him give, basically you right click on him, you talk to him, and then you tell him to go into snack distribution mode. So he will give everyone food. The problem is that requires 5 hearty feasts. Now I investigated, and yeah, making 5 hearty feasts at the minute would require pretty much getting to the top of Legion stuff, making loads of different other recipes, and it would take a very long time for, well, I mean, come on, you can assume what that is like. Basically, Reeves can take loads of different modules, you can slot them in, and yeah, he'll be more awesome. It seems like one of the things that they're going to be keeping as a main theme of the engineering progression in Legion is that you're upgrading this guy. So basically, you've got your own little fell Reaver dude who will do handy things for you. You can throw down turrets and stuff like that. We've got bombs, which don't work at the minute. Oh, okay, it worked that time. Never mind. Hey, consistency. And then you've got stuff like your head cannons. Of course, your wormhole generator, which will let you blink around Dalaran. I'm sure we'll see more toys and stuff like that. This is just to give you a rough overview of the progression that you can expect in Legion. Overall, I'm very happy. We started this off with loads of quests, which were going and doing things. There was the stuff with Fargo Flintlock, which is pretty cool. Overall, some good quality content, and this is a running theme that we're seeing with all of the professions in Legion. They actually involve their own quest lines and their own stuff. Now, if we look at my engineering thing here, you know, the auto hammer, right? Okay, that's just something that we purchase. That's another thing we just purchase. But like a lot of the upgrades for these, yeah, so these upgrades, they are unlocked by doing a quest in Asuna. The snack distribution module, I already have it, but the further things for your robot guy seem to be via quest chains. But overall, if you think about it, you know, if every rank of these is via quest, then that same principle is applied to everything else. If we just hop over to Unlearned here, so we've got all of our different cranial cannons. We've got our pump action bandage gun. We've got our failure protection thing, our gun pack, our gun shoes. Yes, gun shoes. So they'll propel you forward. We've got Laystone Boys. I don't know what they do. That's kind of interesting. We've got a Mecha Bond imprint matrix, which allows you to tame pets in the mechanical family. Something only hunters can use. We've got a relic called the Phallic. Oh, I see what they did there. That's a relic for your artifact weapon, so you can slot that into... Sorry, all my windows are messed up. You can slot that into one of those relic slots, so that's pretty cool. We've got the Shockinator, which is another one. Right now, it'll give me a rank in Wind Surge and then some item levels. When we move on to toys, Blingatron's circuit design tutorial. which will put down like a little puzzle game. We've got a sonic environment enhancer. You can change the music by using song scrolls, which are crafted by scribes. Seems like that's what we got in the Garrison Jukebox, but maybe something that's just out in the world for Legion specifically. We've got Trigger right now. Doesn't have much of an effect on it. If we look at all the robotic modules, so Bling mode, I'm going to assume that's Blingatron mode, and it basically means Reeves can turn into a Blingatron. We've got failure detection mode, which right now has got the tooltip for wormhole generator mode, which will, make him generate wormholes. That's one of your sort of classic things that engineers have had. We've got firework display mode, mailbox mode. So lots of really good utility here. Okay, piloted combat mode. So you can hop in, Reeves, and start, fighting. That's extremely cool. Now, of course, it's taking, you need to put in 5 of those turrets, 2 of those shotguns, which are admittedly very easy. Those gun packs that you craft there, we've got to put 5 of those in. So you put quite a lot into this, and then you're able to fly this guy around and fight in him. And then there's repair mode, which will allow you to repair, I suppose, but I don't really know how much that's worth in comparison to the... Well, I suppose you just have it forever. Of course, there is the auto hammer, which I used earlier on in the video. That's about it for the first look at Legion Engineering. Lots of cool quests, quite a few cool little utility items. Hopefully we'll see more as the alpha progresses. But yeah, so far so good. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.